What is up, guys? How we doing? So Davey Coombs, Tim Cotter, they're doing some damage control. They understand their facade of who they say they are. It's coming undone. We had some madness at Loretta Lynn's in the PW class, the 4 to 6 class. Come on, guys, 4 to 6 year olds, and we got parents fighting. This is ridiculous. And the MXGP series was in Lommel, the sand track, where Kai DeWolf, Lucas Coonan, and these sand specialists were supposed to take over, did they? Anyway, if you got some aches and pains, I'm telling you, Nano-Xtreme. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY, and get free shipping. Coach Rob had some riders. He's coming on. I'll have that up probably tomorrow as a wrap-up of Loretta Lynn's. But if you want to talk to Coach Rob, click the link and get your consultation. You can get a 30-minute consultation with Coach Rob, and he can set you on the right training path. AJ writes crypto and VeChain. We're in the final few days of the giveaway. They're giving away $42,000 in the form of a Tesla car. But if you don't want the Tesla, they'll give you the cash. They don't care. They just want to give you something. Click that link, get entered to win your money, your $1,500 in crypto, or just some whole bunch of other stuff they're giving away. So head over to AJ Writes Crypto and get registered.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So before I get into it, I want to promote this. This is Hayden Bennett. She was training for the women's class at Loretta Lynn's and had a horrific accident. She has a long recovery ahead of her. She broke her back. There's issues with the feeling in her legs and feet. I don't know how it's recovered. They're sure hoping to get full recovery, make a 100% return, but she's got a long road ahead of her. And if you want to support Hayden Bennett, you can click this link and donate to young Hayden Bennett. She's got a long road ahead of her. This sport that we've chosen is dangerous. It's gnarly, and accidents happen, even when it's done properly. But there was a lot of things at Loretta Lynn's that they didn't do properly. And the Davey Coombs Racer X MX Sports spin machine was in turbo. So there's pictures going around of Davey Coombs handing out water to the overheated riders. Well, they're overheated because it's dangerous heat conditions. That's just what happens at Loretta Lynn's. But they have to wear these bibs over their outfits. They don't flow air very well. And the riders are not allowed to take them off, modify them, or do some of the things to get more airflow to prevent this dangerous heat exhaustion. So what's Davey Coombs' answer? He's going to go out there, instead of telling the riders they can take off their vests, he's going to go out there and hand them Dixie cups of water. This seemed like a very nice gesture. And yes, it is a nice gesture for somebody who's running the event, making 7+ figures off of all these amateur riders to make sure they're hydrated. Good on him for that. Except he only did it for like 15 minutes. I talked to some people who were down there the entire time, hydrating riders and making sure people are taken care of with cold towels when they come off the track. Davey Coombs and his crypt keeper sister, the one that is in charge of it all, were down there for 10, maybe 15 minutes doing this job just for a photo op, just so they can spin that narrative that they care about the riders. Just if they really cared, they'd let them take the bibs off. Or even better, why don't you get vented bibs? It's not rocket science. There's plenty of companies that could probably do this, and they'll probably say, oh, it costs too much, because they probably get a really good deal on the bibs that they have right now. But it's time. It's too hot. Riders are going too fast and working too hard. Maybe have vented option for the riders when they sign up. Riders will pay for it. They'll pay the extra money to get a vented bib. Davey Coombs doesn't have to come out of pocket for this. Just make it available. Come on, man. My guess is he has a hookup with whoever makes the vests, and they don't have the technology to do a vented vest. So instead of reaching out and finding a different supplier, their good old boy system, they're going to keep doing the same ones they have and just forcing people to wear them, selling sponsorship, and making money off these amateur riders. But hey, go ahead, give them a couple Dixie cups of water. That'll make it all good. Then there was the race, the Steven versus Kevin Windam race. The Steven he's a handicapped kid, and I thought it was really cool that they got him out there and gave him some love, let him get on the track and pretended to beat Kevin Windam in a race. I like it. I do. I actually kind of like it. But they didn't do it for Steven. And I don't care. And I had this long debate with a friend of mine, and we're like, well, it feels dirty to kind of exploit this kid. But we kind of settled on, we don't really care. As long as Steven had a good time, It's a good thing. We don't care. But if you look at the starting line, the two guys who had the biggest PR nightmare coming into this, Davey Coombs and Tim Cotter, that's who's running this. Not the announcers that are handling the whole event. They've got Davey Coombs and Tim Cotter down on the line pretending to be good people. And the fact that they threw this together like the day before shows you 100% this was not something they planned on doing to make Steven feel good. This was 100% damage control. They're doing spin to do something good because they know how much bad they've done this week. Chris Canning hit a tree and they blamed Chris Canning. Davey Coombs in his RacerX article said it's Chris Canning's fault for jumping and hitting the tree. And the argument they used is the tree's been there for years. I'm not that familiar with trees, but they grow and they change directions and sometimes they need to be trimmed. 15 years ago when that tree was there, it might not have been in the track. This year it was. Canning hits it. He ejects off the back of the bike after hitting the tree, and his bike lands on the track. It's not like he was off the track. He was on the track. And instead of saying, hey, whoops, we overlooked something, we're going to fix it, we're going to move the track over 5 feet, they just blame Chris Canning for hitting the tree. Are you serious? Then there was a gentleman who had a medical emergency. I believe it was the night before, like Sunday night or Monday night, one of those nights. A gentleman has a medical emergency, goes to the MX Sports trailer for help, assuming there's EMTs on the site because it's a large event with lots of people. You'd think there'd at least be an EMT around to check on the gentleman. Instead, the MX Sports staff, which was inside the MX Sports trailer, I don't have specific names of who did this, instead of taking care of this gentleman and getting him immediate medical assistance, they argued with him and his wife and accused them of being on fentanyl. Now that extra half hour to an hour of arguing with MX Sports in the trailer just about cost this gentleman his life. When he got to the hospital, they said it was within minutes of him passing away. Luckily, they got there in time and he's going to be all right, but he's pissed. He's like, listen, I come there for help and you accuse me of being on fentanyl? At the doctor, they did drug tests and proved he was not on any drugs. He was having a medical emergency. But if you think these people care about the people at the ranch, they don't. It's about dollars and cents. But this one's going to cost them. This gentleman is bringing legal action against them for delaying him and just about costing him his life. He's pissed, and he should be. And they also kind of slandered him by accusing him of using fentanyl and leading others to believe at the ranch that this gentleman was on fentanyl. That's disgusting. And they're claiming they did nothing wrong by questioning him and drilling him to where he almost died. Now to the PW50, the shaft drive 4-6 class, which every year these crazy parents get out of hand. They all cheat with their bikes, they fight, they do crazy things that are just disgusting. These kids are 4 to 6 years old. They're just happy to be at the ranch. They're happy to be riding. They do their race, they get done, they collect their trophy, and then they're probably off playing roadblocks or in the river. They don't care that much. They're 4 to 6 years old. They don't care. They're having fun. They care as much as their parents talk them into caring. And what's making big news is Eddie Ray, his kid Knox Ray, was disqualified. They had an illegal part in the motor. I reached out to Eddie Ray after the race. I said, what'd you do, Eddie? And he was embarrassed and he said, yeah, we deserve to be disqualified. His kid weighs 75 pounds. He's a large kid. Knox is not a little guy. I understand why Eddie did it. Eddie wanted his kid to be competitive. He didn't want him to go to the ranch and get completely blown out of the water and not want to ride. And they wanted to give him some confidence. They didn't know he was going to win. And yes, Eddie's very embarrassed about the whole situation. He wishes he hadn't done it. But hey, racers push the limits. And the things we'll do for our kids, we make some bad decisions sometimes. They accepted the disqualification and moved on, like normal parents should. Lesson learned, don't let your emotions have you do something stupid that could reflect negatively on your kid. It happens. We make mistakes. And I love that Eddie owned it, took the disqualification, and it's done with. He won't do it again. Now the fight on the podium or in the cool down area, that was disgusting. That was something that is unacceptable and should never happen in an amateur event. There were a lot of rumors that it had to do with the disqualification. That's not true. It was a family domestic dispute. This was between a husband, a wife, the ex-wife. I don't know exactly what it was all about. They'd have to talk to the family about that. But next thing you know, they're fighting with kids strapped to them. It was one of the most disgusting scenes that I've seen in a long time.
You're not going in. I don't know here. Something among us. You're not supposed to be over here. You're not supposed to be over here.
Everybody calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
There's rumors that he was disqualified from a protest. The kid's family that was fighting was disqualified because of their actions. Had nothing to do with the bike. The only guy who was caught cheating was Knox Ray, and he was disqualified and left, no problem. It is what it is. This kid was disqualified because his parents act like hillbillies and fought in the vicinity of families, babies, and children. It was disgusting. The AMA official disqualified them on the spot, which is the right call. You cannot have behavior like that around children at a youth event. You just can't. Apparently, the family that had the domestic dispute has some pull with MX Sports and Carrie Joe Coombs. Apparently, they went to Carrie Joe and had the AMA official overridden. This AMA official, his decision to disqualify them was supposed to be final. They're supposed to be the sanctioning body. They're supposed to run this thing. They're supposed to police it. He's the final say. If anyone else comes over him, it affects the entire integrity of the event. That's what happened. Carrie Joe came in and bullied AMA into not disqualifying this kid and acting like all is well. That's the problem. The fight and the fact that MX Sports is overruling officials and hurting the integrity of the event. You PW50 parents need to chill. Remember, you're there for your kids. You're there for the family experience. Nobody's getting a factory ride. Nobody's getting anything other than a trophy. And you're fighting and doing permanent damage to children, showing them behavior they should never see. That's a problem. You shouldn't cheat, but you really, really shouldn't fist fight on the podium. And then MX Sports comes in and says, it's fine. No, we're going to allow that at our event because they're our friends. What are you doing? That's disgusting. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. That's pretransport.com, a family-owned shipping company that does a really good job. Hit them up if you want to get your stuff shipped. If you have a business and you want to increase your profits, hit up pretransport.com. Alias MX gear. This stuff's such high quality gear. You got their 25.5 gear out there. If you want some of this, you better move quickly. It is limited. So head over to Alias MX and get your new gear. Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts, just a cool company. Ride Strapped really appreciates everything that's good about this sport. Head over to Ride Strapped and check them out. Now to the MXGP in Lommel. This is one of the deepest, gnarliest sand tracks in the world. It makes professional riders who aren't good in the sand, it exposes them. They go from podium finishing to outside the top 10. That's how difficult this track is. It makes some of the best riders in the world look like squids. In the 250 class, Kai de Wolf dominated. He might be the best sand rider on the planet right now. I know he was only in the 250 class, but I think the way he flows around that track and he makes it look so effortless. Kai de Wolf is the best sand rider I've ever seen. And he needed a 60-point performance. You get 10 for the qualifier, 25 for each moto. Kai de Wolf got max points at Lommel and closed the championship, which it looked like a week ago he was probably out of it. Now he's back down within 38 points. With 5 rounds left, there's a lot of points up for grabs. So Kai de Wolf right back in this thing. There's some big swings in that 250 class. And I have to say, the way he's riding, I think Kai de Wolf might end up defending that plate. And like 3 times this year, I've said he's so far out, it's done. I'm done doing that. Kai de Wolf is probably going to win this thing. And I probably go back and find 5 videos where I said, yeah, that's probably it for the championship. No. Kai de Wolf just keeps giving himself a chance, and it's pretty impressive to watch. Triumph and their rider Camden McClellan looked really good. Clearly, this guy can ride sand too. He got second in the first moto, third in the second moto, and got Triumph a second overall at Lommel. Good job, Camden McClellan. Now, Sasha Coonan, holy crap. I want a Sasha Coonan camera. This dude must have wrecked 15 times on the weekend. Every single time. This dude goes full send, no cares, no worries. It's crazy how you can have these gigantic get-offs, pop right back up and just go full steam ahead again. He's terrifying. I would not want to be, if I was his dad or mom, I would probably have a heart attack. I couldn't take it. It's hard not knowing him, even just watching the way he rides. It's exciting, but it's scary. But he did end up riding really good, got second in the second moto, and ended up on the podium at his home GP at Lommel. Now, the other two guys in the championship fight, Andrea Adamo and Simon Langenfelder, they didn't have the worst days, but they didn't have very good days, and they both lost a significant chunk of points to Kai de Wolf. They cannot have many more days like this. Any more days like this, and Kai de Wolf will run away with it. He'll be clinched around early if they keep riding like this. I don't expect this from these guys. They're much better in hard pack conditions, but they need to stop the flow of points from Kai de Wolf right now, or this thing's going to slip right out of their hands. In the 450 class, Lucas Koenen, another sand specialist at home in Belgium. And I think this is almost that hometown disadvantage. You have so many people. Every time he got near, the crowd would just erupt. Sometimes that can play against you. And I think in that first moto, he wanted it so bad. He really tried too hard, made mistakes. And I'll tell you what, Romain Febvre stepped up. This was the time where he was supposed to lose a lot of points. He lost 1 point on the weekend. So even though Romain Febvre didn't get the overall, I guarantee he was happy with his performance in Lommel and only losing 1 point to his championship rival. It's down to 9 points, so this thing's probably going to come down to the final moto. And I'll tell you what, Lucas Koenen is just this phenom, and he doesn't know what he doesn't know, and he's going to go for it. But man, Romain Febvre is this dude is nails. This is a guy who comes through when he has to. I don't know who to pick in this. It's a coin flip right now. I would probably lean Febvre because he just seems to refuse to lose and does whatever he needs to. But then again, Lucas Koenen has this crazy talent where he can just step up. I don't know, man. And Jeffrey Herlings made a surprise return. He's really not supposed to be back from this broken collarbone, but he went ahead and tried to ride at Lommel. This is one of his favorite tracks. I mean, he's the Sandman, Jeffrey Herlings. He likes this track. He likes this crowd. It's not too far from his home. And in the first moto, you could see he kind of fell back. He made a couple mistakes, nothing big, but it was just like every time he crashed, we're all holding our breath. Is that collarbone going to re-break? Because if that happens, that would be very bad for the multi-time world champion. And after his first moto, I assumed maybe he would sit out the second moto. Maybe he would go out there and play it conservative. Nope, not Jeffrey Herlings style. The bullet went out there, whole shots, and drops 9 seconds on the field. He was flying. I thought we were going to see some storybook crazy moto result from Jeffrey Herlings, and then he had a big one. Luckily, he doesn't seem to be hurt, so now they got a week off. He can rest up and come back after that. But man, this guy is fun to watch, and you never know what you're going to get out of Jeffrey Herlings. That was one of the more surprising results, or even the fact that he went out there and went for it like that with a collarbone that isn't completely healed. But there's a guy, Gifting, Isaac Gifting. Holy crap. This dude is tough. That's not a guy you want to have to pass if you're coming through the pack. He gives no quarter and asks no quarter. If you want to show a young rider what it means to fight for position, just show them Isaac Gifting. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fight for every inch, and it works. Isaac Gifting, I'm a fan. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I sure like watching him out there fight these guys like he belongs. And he does belong, and I think you're going to see more from this guy. Anyway, with 5 rounds left, this thing is going to come to the end between Romain Febvre and Lucas Koenen. This is a battle for the ages. There were rumors that some of the GP guys were going to come over and ride Ironman this weekend. Looks like everyone's going to, I don't know if they're burned out from Lommel or the schedule's just too hectic, but they only have 1 week in between now and their next race. A lot of them don't want to fly across the pond and risk fatigue or getting injured at Ironman. They'll all be there for the donations, but they are not going to be there for the National this weekend. Thank you, members. I appreciate everything. And don't forget, you're all entered to win the new Power Sports electric motorcycle that I'm giving away in December. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything. Here's your member of the day.
Let's start this off by saying, we got them. The illegal sale of American motorcycle racing. I present a case that reveals how the American Motorcyclist Association's 2008 sale of its racing properties constituted an illegal transfer of public trust into private hands. My name's B Mazy, and I'm here to stir shit up. So I made a song for you guys. You know, It's crazy that the riders still gotta pay to race, even though these guys are just filling their pockets because they're money hungry, greedy, stupid mother, ex-circus owners, but still got the same mindset for the Supercross. Screw Feld, screw the AMA, and screw Rob Dingman.